Attention, viewer discretion is advised. When the love of this beautiful girl turned into obsession, she became more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. It is a story that shook all of Tokyo, but what could have made her do something like that? It all began in Japan. In the fall of 2018, Yuka Takaoka, a naturally modest and quiet young woman of 21, lived in the Shinjuku district. Shinjuku is far from an ordinary part of Tokyo. It is famous for its packed clubs, its lively karaoke bars, and its upscale restaurants. Yuko's life was anything but typical. In many ways, she lived by Western standards. She dropped out of university at the age of 19 to become the manager of a hostess bar in Shinjuku. Hostess bars are a major part of East Asia's nightlife culture. Here is how they work. Most of their customers are men who pay to spend time with women, but not in the way you might think. The hostesses usually just serve drinks, they give compliments, and they carry on friendly conversation. These establishments are more about social entertainment. They have nothing to do with escort services. On top of that, Yuko was an avid anime fan. She often posted photos on Twitter and Instagram, dressed up as her favorite characters. Her accounts are still active, by the way, so if you're curious, the links are in the description. Yuko was known for being reserved, the kind of person who does not talk much at first, but opens up over time as trust and connection grow. No one ever expected trouble from her. Everyone who knew her described her as calm, sweet, and gentle, yet no one could have guessed the dark side lurking beneath her calm exterior. Speaking of Yuko's hobbies, one of her favorite cosplay styles was the Yandere archetype, a type of anime character, usually a girl who seems normal on the outside, but is intensely emotional and obsessively devoted to their love interest. They are the kind who would do absolutely anything for the one they love. Are you starting to sense where this is going? In October of that same year, during one of her shifts at the hostess bar, Yuko met a young man of 20 years named Phoenix Luna. He also worked as a host at a nearby host bar. It is important to clarify here, a host bar is almost the same as a hostess bar, with one key difference: it caters to female clients. Phoenix was quite popular in Shinjuku, and not just within the walls of his own bar. His photos often appeared on the Wall of Honor, since many women who had once paid for his company kept coming back specifically for him. It is worth noting that this is a very safe line of work. Both host and hostess bars are equipped with security and are officially under police protection. As you have probably sensed by now, things were starting to take an interesting turn. Yuko and Phoenix worked in the same industry. They understood each other instantly, not just as a man and a woman, but also on a professional level. Before long, they started coordinating their schedules so they could spend time together outside of work. Yuko's growing attachment to the object of her affection was clearly reflected in her personal journal and notebook, where she filled pages writing about him. Naturally, as the weeks and months went by, their meetings became more frequent, more personal, and eventually they began dating. However, things were not entirely smooth between them. Even though they saw each other whenever their schedules allowed, the demands of their work created a certain tension. And the thing is, even though both Yuka and Phoenix worked in the same industry, he preferred making money by flirting with women at his host bar. As you can probably guess, that led to jealousy. And honestly, calling it jealousy is putting it mildly. With each passing month, Yuka got more and more attached to him, and as a result, her jealousy grew exponentially. It got to the point where she was checking his phone and even following him around. That kind of behavior is a serious invasion of personal boundaries and definitely not okay in a healthy relationship. If that still sounds harmless to you, how about this? She would show up at the bar where he worked and literally prepay for his time an entire month in advance. We are talking over $9,000 every single month just to keep other women away from her beloved Phoenix. That's a little strange, don't you think? Let's jump ahead a bit to May the 23rd, 2019. It had been a few months since they started dating. Surprisingly, things were going pretty well, and despite a few misunderstandings, the couple seemed happy. But love like this rarely stays simple. Yuka kept running her hostess bar, and there were no issues on that front. Business was doing great. She took a couple of days off to tidy up her hotel room. That same day, she called Phoenix and invited him over to help with a cosplay outfit, and of course, he said yes. Phoenix showed up way later than she expected. His shift at the bar had been long. When he finally arrived, he was completely exhausted. He asked Yuka if he could take a bath to unwind after work. She said sure. So he went in, filled the tub, got in, and fell asleep. While he was in the bath, Yuka once again started going through his personal stuff without his permission. That is when she found a few photos of Phoenix with another girl. She did not know who the girl was, but she was sure it was not a client. After all, like always, she had prepaid for Phoenix's time for the whole month. Finding those photos triggered a wave of emotional stress. It is important to point out that this kind of behavior, invading someone's privacy and trying to control them, is completely unacceptable and cannot be justified by jealousy or any other emotion. But back to Yuka. She had already noticed that Phoenix had been acting cold toward her the last couple of days, so when she saw those photos, she connected the dots and took them as proof he was cheating. Now, in that kind of situation, most people might try to talk it out or ask if everything is okay, but not Yuka. When Phoenix woke up, he walked into the bedroom and quietly got into bed, trying not to wake Yuka, who seemed to already be asleep. Exhausted, he fell asleep almost instantly. At that moment, Yuka caused him serious injuries that required urgent medical attention, and yet Phoenix was lucky. He woke up quickly and managed to react right away. Somehow, he made it out of the apartment and reached the building's exit, but collapsed from his injuries just as he got outside. By that time, bystanders had gathered and the immediate threat was over. A witness called the police and an ambulance. Yuka did not flee the scene. She stayed right there next to Phoenix, talking on the phone with a friend. While waiting for the police to arrive, she wrote a message, "I love you," over and over. When officers arrived and realized what had happened, Yuka was immediately taken into custody for questioning. Eyewitnesses observed her being led to the squad car by police and noticed she had a faint smile as she got inside. As for the victim, Phoenix Luna was still alive. He was rushed to a local hospital where doctors were cautious with their predictions. But on July the 1st, a little over a month after the incident, Phoenix surprised everyone. He was alive and recovering. He even posted on Twitter to update his friends and fans, "Sorry, but I am alive and I am back." Later, he joked that his liver had been damaged, and now he had the perfect excuse to quit drinking. After going through all of this, Phoenix agreed to give an interview. In it, he did not show any hatred toward Yuka. On the contrary, when asked why he did not resent her, he said he did not hold a grudge. In fact, he even begged the judge to reduce her sentence. On Thursday, December the 5th, 2019, Yuka was given a prison sentence of 3 years. Along with the sentence, she was ordered to pay Phoenix compensation of 5 million yen, approximately 35,000 US dollars. At the hearing, the judge remarked, "If possible, I hope they both can move forward and rebuild their lives after facing the consequences." After the incident, Yuka Takaoka's appearance and image gained a lot of attention online. Some people saw her as the real-life version of a Yandere, the ultra-emotional anime girl, who is willing to do anything for the one she loves. However, trying to romanticize jealousy and criminal behavior is a dangerous and disturbing trend. Turning tragic events and destructive actions into something to admire or idolize crosses moral lines, distorts people's understanding of what is acceptable, and can encourage similar incidents. Real actions like Yuka's should be condemned, not romanticized. It is important to remember that real life and media fantasies are two completely different things. Yuka Takaoka was released in 2023. Since then, her life has remained out of the public spotlight and free of major scandals. The story is based on true events. If you or someone you know is struggling with obsessive or controlling relationships, please seek help.